as Indie Month continues, I have continued to attempt to clear some of my backlog, and with that effort came my playthrough of Celeste. I actually didn't really know too much about this game besides the fact that it played somewhat like Super Meat Boy and was notoriously difficult. When I first started playing, I actually had a really tough time adjusting to the controls because your three main keys, C, X, and Z, are used to jump, dash, and climb in that order, but Hollow Knight has similar actions that are assigned to different keys, and if you've been watching my videos for the last little bit, you might know that I've been playing quite a bit of Hollow Knight, so there was a little bit of a learning curve. Once my muscle memory was rewritten though, I had a bit of an easier time. At first, I thought the game was fairly easy and fun, and I had a good time just trying to figure out the different screens, but I very quickly got super wrapped up in the mystery of what exactly was going on with our main character Madeline. I mean, by the second level, we had these strange mirror Madelines chasing us around, a memory of a person calling us who we hadn't spoken to in months, and still no answer for why exactly Madeline was so determined to climb up Celeste Mountain. Needless to say, I dug into the rest of the game with gusto. As I mentioned, I didn't know too much about Celeste when I first started playing the game, outside of the fact that it was difficult, and it definitely did live up to that name. What I really wasn't prepared for, though, was one of the most heartwarming and poignant tales of self-love and acceptance and accomplishing goals despite the interference of anxiety and self-doubt. The friendship Madeline formed with each person who she met, Granny, Mr. Oshiro, and Theo, was significant to her growth as a person and paved the way for the beautiful relationship she was able to form with the part of her that escaped that represented her fear and self-doubt. The game made me cry multiple times. It was just absolutely beautifully written, character and story-wise. I honestly more than recommend it off just the character and story writing alone, but I know that dying a million times might not be everyone's cup of tea. So yeah, gameplay-wise, each chapter has a unique mechanic of some kind, and you have to climb, jump, and dash your way upwards. Each chapter also has several collectibles, such as the strawberries, the B-side cassette tapes, and the crystal hearts. It took me about 21 hours and 5,000 deaths, oh my god, to get all of the strawberries, B-side cassettes, and crystal hearts for chapters 1 to 8. Even at that point though, there's still tons to do, such as the bonus chapter 9, the actual B-side levels, and even C-side levels. There's levels on levels. And guys, I really have to emphasize how addictive this game is. Like literally some weekends I would turn it on and be like, I'm only gonna play one screen, and then I would get stuck on it, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna solve this one screen, and then I would solve it and I would get like that rush and be like, yippee, because like I finally beat it, and then I would move to the next screen and like the cycle would repeat. Like I actually would sometimes I would start playing and I would look up and it like a few hours had passed and I'd be like, oh my god. This was especially true of chapter 9, which I found incredibly difficult. I used a video guide for honestly probably a good like half of the rooms, and I would like to add that at the point in which I am recording this voiceover, I am only about a third of the way done the actual chapter 9, and I still have all the B-sides to do. I will share with you guys my total death count after everything is completed, but who knows how long that will actually be from now. I'll probably share it in the community tab. However, even if you do manage to go through all of that, there is still more. You can also access a minigame called Pico 8, which is a smaller, even more 2D version of Celeste that you can also play. In other words, there is a lot of content in this game. As I said, I greatly enjoyed Celeste. It was such a feel-good game, and don't even get me started on how good the music was. So I really do recommend it to anyone who feels up to the challenge. Honestly, the way it was able to cover things like anxiety and depression and interpersonal relationships and just like grief, especially with the last chapter, like the way they're able to like cover grief, it was honestly just one of the best narratives to have covered those themes, in my opinion. I just absolutely enjoyed it so much. Like I honestly just can't recommend it enough. But I wanted to just like last little asterisk, if you're worried about being unable to complete the game because of like the difficulty, just know that I am like one of the most unable to play platformers gamers ever, and I managed to get her done with enough tries. So if you do have the grit to die a bunch of times, you will get through it, I promise. But yeah, in conclusion, Celeste has really secured itself in a very high position of my video game rankings personally. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.